How's it going? I'm Trevor, if you can't read. And yeah, I'm a Web3 guy. I'm from Toronto. I was part of the early Ethereum days when Vitalik was handing out the white paper back in 2014 or something. And my last project that I launched in Web3 that was like a token-based project was called Polymath. It was an early security token, what's now known as real-world asset token. We evolved that into an L1 called Polymesh. Charles Hoskinson and I built that back in 2021, and now it's a category leader. But now, I label data for a living. That's my job. I am a lowly data miner person. And the reason, let me just back up. AI is really three things. It's compute, algorithms, and data. I think compute is not a sustainable competitive advantage because the next guy can just buy more chips. I don't think algorithms are a competitive advantage because right now they're all at parity anyways. But it's data labeling, and proprietary / frontier data that I think is a competitive advantage. So humans are kind of paradoxically critical for AI. And you hear sometimes, machines and synthetic data is going to replace humans. It's actually the opposite. If you look at any category right now, AI data is the fastest growing by revenue. I'll just back up for a second. A lot of folks are saying that the reason AI hasn't reached AGI yet is because a lot of the data we have on the internet isn't the result, isn't how humans reason, it's the result of human reasoning. So we've kind of hit a plateau. Because when you write something on the internet, you don't write how you got to that answer, you just write the answer, if that makes sense. So a lot of people think, data is the new oil. It's a new competitive advantage. It's going to be just as geopolitically strategic as chips are today. If the US government has a lot of proprietary data, it's not going to want that data to get out in the same way it doesn't want NVIDIA chips to get out either. And just follow the money. On human data labeling now, the big LLMs pay about $1 billion per model per year on human data labeling. And that's up like 10x from the previous year, which is up 10x from the year before that. So it's growing at like quadruple Moore's law right now. The demand for data is insatiable, and it's only growing and accelerating, especially human feedback or RLHF data. All right. Oops. So what is data labeling? It's a lot of things. It's basically taking raw data, kind of like crude oil in the ground, and refining it before you put it in your car as gasoline. And so this is kind of what it looks like. You take these bounding box modalities, that's like an image, and you say, this is a stop sign, this is a baby. Or it's like a text-based thing where it's like, hey, Mr. Human, do you think this is funny or not? And you're training the model how to be funny. But have you ever wondered, until right now, how data is labeled? I'm saying it's this huge market. There's millions of data labelers today around the world. You don't hear about them, and I'll tell you in a minute why. But this is how it's done. It's done, this is a real picture. It's from centralized labeling facilities in the Philippines mostly, and other places in Southeast Asia. We're just thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people in a physical location label data. You do not hear about this because big tech doesn't want you to know how the sausage is made. And I'll tell you how the sausage is made. It's made in these huge facilities. It's not ideal working conditions. They make like $1 or $2 per hour. But I don't really want to focus on the negative either. And there are a lot of negatives. I'll say one more actually. The value is clearly not accruing to the humans. That's what people, the people that are doing the labeling are the unsung heroes. We're the people that help OpenAI's model work. Because OpenAI wasn't the first model, it was the first model that worked because they put a lot of humans in their data sets. So anyways, these humans don't really get the credit that they deserve. And that's why we built Sapien. Sapien is a decentralized version of a big company like Scale AI, who we actually have a lot of respect for. But just quite simply, Sapien is a two-sided marketplace for the enterprise. It's the fastest way to high-quality labels on demand. So every single model, whether it's a huge big tech model or it's a mid-market model, needs to structure their data. So we're making it easy for even the smaller models to compete with the big models to close that performance gap, which is like insanely big right now. And for labelers, the supply side of the marketplace, you can think of that like the drivers in Uber. Sapien is just very simply a new form of gig work where you can earn money anywhere, anytime from your phone. And more importantly, we think this could be the first time ever that anyone, anywhere can earn a living wage without needing any skills, without needing any assets, like they don't need a car to drive an Uber. They just need an Android phone and you can label data and make a living wage. And that's kind of powerful because you can get paid the minimum wage to survive just by being like a no-skill, low-wage human, or you could be like a highly paid specialized human and you can make a lot. You can make, let's say you're a radiologist and you want to label MRI data on the weekends, you can make hundreds of dollars per hour on demand. Instead of playing Candy Crush at a bus stop, you can like make $100 labeling with your human skill from your brain on your phone. I want to do a quick demo. This one's a little more interactive. This is a real customer that paid us. This was a fashion model. So it's a fashion company, like an Aritzia type company that's trying to build a model to predict fashion trends. That's the beauty of working in a business like Sapien. We get to see all kinds of fun use cases. Like we had an enterprise client, an enterprise DeFi customer where we were labeling Solidity data, like Etherscan data. We've had a pancreatic cancer researcher, like I said before. This is an example of a fun one, which is a verticalized fashion company that wants us to find humans to label data to build a model that predicts fashion trends. So we think this is the future of human work. It's like using our skills and our intuition to teach machines how to do that job even better. And so what we're trying to do here is like gamify the experience. That's why we have some of our cap table is like YGG and Animoca. We wanted that gamified layer. So it's not just like a boring Excel spreadsheet. It's like a fun, interactive way to play and earn, kind of like a new version of play to earn, but we actually call it train to earn or label to earn. So we think that's the future of work, and especially for data labeling. A few different strategies. We really want this to be a simple interface. If you guys pull out your phones now, we have a live working product. You can label data and like start earning rewards. You got to go to game.sapien.io on your browser. So just game.sapien, S-A-P-I-E-N.io. I'll say it again at the end of the presentation. But when you see it on your phone, you'll see what we mean. We're trying to take this little embeddable front end and put it everywhere. It'll be a Telegram app, it'll be a Chrome extension. Right now it's a responsive web app on your phone. And I think more importantly for Web3, this is what we need to bring adoption to these chains. We don't have a problem with block space right now. We have a problem with empty block space. We need like real use cases. I still consider us an infrastructure company, but we're also an application as well that's like bringing, we hope, millions of new users to Web3. So yeah, we want to go cross-platform, and you can see our first iteration of that on your phone right now for labeling. And by the way, on your phone, that's real customer data. So you're actually helping us make money too, because they paid us to get you guys to label the data, and then we'll support rewards for you guys to earn a percentage of that income as well. We've only been around about a year. We've already got labelers from 91 countries. We won a big contract recently from a big labeling model you would recognize that chose us because of our diversity of labelers. Another problem with this centralized labeling model is that they're all in one physical location, and the people labeling in them are all of the same nationality and culture and gender in a lot of cases. And I'm not talking about like a DEI argument or anything. I'm talking about quality of data. If you have more diverse labelers, you have higher quality training data. If you have homogeneous labelers, you get slanted and biased results and suboptimal data. So diversity is strength in this case, and we want to have the biggest, largest, most diverse network of labelers in the world. And quickly on the Web3 side, nowadays I think it's important to get a lot of traction in users before launching tokens around, and that's what we've done. But we have a lot of interesting Web3 use cases that I want to touch on quickly. So connecting a wallet is important because that's how you get paid. You can get paid on chain. We would much prefer you, and you should also want to get paid, prefer to get paid on chain, because you don't have to pay fees and remittances and delays. You can just get paid instantly. That's an easy one. We have another concept called stake to play, where we give users the option to stake a token while they play, and while they're staking, they earn more rewards. But if we detect that you're kind of cheating or Sybil attacking the network, meaning you're trying to cheat or game the system, or if you're not human or if you're a bot, you could get slashed. So this kind of, if you play well and do a good job, you get more rewards, or if you misbehave, you get less rewards, or you even lose your rewards. That's part of our kind of mechanism design or incentive design to get people to play genuinely and accurately. And it's actually a big unlock, because the biggest reason this doesn't exist today is because it's hard to ensure quality in a distributed model. So that's why everything's centralized right now. It's like banks, right? Before Bitcoin, everything was centralized to ensure settlement. But now you don't need to do that centrally because Bitcoin is a new protocol. So we've kind of done the same thing with our incentive design. Just to go down the stack a little bit, we're kind of placing ourselves within the decentralized AI ecosystem. We're actually working on a new standard right now. At my last project, Polymath, we wrote ERC 1400, which became the default tokenization standard for Ethereum. And the guy we co-wrote it with was Fabian Vogelsteller, who created ERC20. So he's kind of the father of modern Ethereum. Without ERC20, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we want to do the same thing for decentralized AI data, where we're solving real problems because there's no standardization. We want to make it so data can flow across the DAI stack. So it can be collected by a project like Grass. They can send it to us for structuring. We can send it to Jensen and BitTensor for training. They can send it to Niraj at Ritual for inference, and he can send it back to us for fine-tuning. So we're kind of seeing the need for standardization. It also helps us on the business development side, because every time we work with a new enterprise customer that needs humans to label their data, we have to do custom integrations and build custom modules. And there's so many different data formats and modalities, it's very inefficient. But if we can create this standard and get everybody on the same playing field, we can update and onboard customers a lot faster. Yeah, so we've been around for about a year. We've raised from really good investors that focus on kind of the decentralized marketplace ecosystem, as you can see. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of our customers. We have one of the biggest Chinese education companies where we had to bootstrap Mandarin-speaking mathematicians, which is crazy. I didn't even want to do that because it's a big pain in the ass to get that specific amount of specialized labelers, but it was worth it because they're willing to pay us a lot more for specialized human knowledge. That's what I'm excited about. Everyone in this room has knowledge that they can monetize to the machines. So the machines need us more than we need them in a lot of ways. And you can see some of our other big enterprise customers as well. The last little slide here is what I said earlier. You know, to get to AGI, we need human knowledge and we need human reasoning. AI is not good at reasoning yet, primarily because data on the open web is the result of human reasoning. It's not how humans reason. And if you look under the iceberg, the open web is just the tip of the iceberg. There's enterprise data, like 100x bigger than open web data. JP Morgan has 120 petabytes of private data, for example, and ChatGPT-4 was trained on 1 petabyte. So it's a whole like under the iceberg. And then even bigger underneath that iceberg is human knowledge data. That's frontier data. That's knowledge that we have in our head that needs to be trained. So yeah, we're around. Check us out, everyone with a Sapien t-shirt to chat. We just brought on Rowan Stone. He's a co-creator of Base, like literally at Coinbase, he co-created Base. So he joined us as head of Web3. And if you have any questions or anything, we'd love to chat. Thanks for your time.